In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to A Place at the Table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
Welcome to A Place at the Table. Have you ever been sold a dream and then found out that you had bought a scam? Keep listening to find out more.
I'm all ears, Elsie. Meanwhile, I'm tabling for our consideration today the International Criminal Court. Is it delivering justice or neo-colonialism? Should it be reformed or scrapped?
Ande, we wait to hear more before we bring down the gavel. Here's something that could do with legislative reform: our systems of surrogacy in Nigeria.
Sounds like a very interesting conversation, Zumah. Family matters always deserve the utmost care and respect, which is why I'm paying respect to my dad today. Of course, the best dad in the world.
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
See,
of course.
going by the white beam on your face. Judging from the way you've turned out, Pa Ogunnubi deserves some accolades. He certainly does. Still on relationships, I'll be speaking on the paradox of friendships.
Whether exposing scams, determining cases for reform, celebrating the heroes in our midst, or identifying when our friends switch from support to sabotage, you're guaranteed a stimulating menu at the table. Don't take my word for it. Wait and see. Or should I say, taste and see. Today, I'm turning our collective attention to the growing real estate scam in Lagos State and across Nigeria. If we're truly going to be our brother's keeper, we must speak up and come to the table to salvage what's left, whether we've been directly affected or not. 2 weeks ago, a media personality took to social media to call out Henry Montego Holmes. She revealed that after fully paying for a property in 2021 with a promised delivery timeline of 18 to 24 months, she's now being asked to pay an extra 32% due to inflation. The property remains undelivered. Just this past weekend, another woman in a business community I belong to reached out for help. She paid in full for a 4-bedroom unit from Landway in 2021. Today, the unit is still a carcass. From the video she shared, the estate is barely livable, yet Landway is attempting to hand it over as is, claiming they cannot complete it. Now, shockingly, this same company is already launching another project called Isimi Lagos with full marketing fanfare. Shout out to Scotty Guma, who continues to spotlight the rot in Nigeria's real estate sector. He recently called out P1 Group for refusing to allocate land purchased in 2014 to a man who has since passed away. Instead of resolving the issue, the company reportedly chased and locked the deceased family out of their office. Let's even talk building standards. We've seen videos from periwinkle condos, elevators flooded like waterfalls, ceilings collapsing. Now, personally, I feel safer in older buildings than these shiny, crumbling promises. From regulators to developers and agents, the entire value chain is complicit. What's being sold is the dream of home ownership. What's delivered is heartbreak, financial loss, and glorified Ponzi schemes. And it keeps happening because we stay silent. Someone called our silence widespread learned helplessness. Now, dear EFCC, SEC, Lagos State Physical Planning and Lagos State Permit Authority Building Control Agency, there's also REDAN, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Lagos State Government, FCT, and the federal government. Please rise up. We are in a crisis. Real estate in Nigeria is not just unaffordable, it is unsafe. It is a scam, and it must end.
My God, I'm in shock. I heard Isimi Lagos. I've been there twice. And, oh my God. Wow. And I know the person you're talking about is Osa, right? when I remember seeing that her post and commenting, and from my own personal experience, it's God that was on my side, because I paid fully.
Wow.
But the developer, not to be rich. In short, I don't know what agreements he had with the landowners. It was all messy. I had to involve the police.
Wow.
In short, I was told by a high-ranking police officer, said, get in there first. Then you can fight from a position of, you know, whatever, a position of strength. So I had to, by force, use my stubborn head and enter that compound. It was messy. And I'm having to start all over again to get my papers. He was supposed to build everything, hand me over my papers, and let me be on my merry way. I'm not owing him 1 naira. But he's no more in the country. Phone is not going through. This is someone I knew for 20 years.
Wow.
I didn't bother checking. I trusted. So when I saw hers, I'm like, I'm going to the police station. I was even told that there are some people you pay, you won't even see the developer, you won't see the house.
Yep.
You won't see anything.
That's very common now.
So what are the regulatory bodies doing? How is it that these people have license to dupe people, to defraud people, and there are no checks and balances? I have no idea. I think Lagos State needs to do more, because at the point of even having to rectify your papers, there should be some sort of, I don't know, checks, regulations. I've been to the Ministry of Lands in Lagos State, because I was trying to do the right thing. The people that own the land, they have not even registered it.
The people who sold to you.
So, not to me, he did a JV. This developer did a JV with the landowners. So the landowner said, oh, he register.
Can you imagine?
So I'm having to say, you know what, cut me out my own piece, because I don't own the land. I'm prepared to pay for my own space of the property. But it is crazy, and that is what I keep hearing.
Okay.
Kate, you asked her manager. I want to answer Kate.
Yes.
Because it's a syndicate.
Including
they are
the
happy,
officials.
They are happy for you to even go and report to the authorities.
Really?
So that it will start a long process.
Really?
I don't.
Yeah.
It's a Ponzi scheme, as I said. I don't let others speak
Wait,
first.
how
Yes.
does that long process benefit them?
So
Sorry,
nobody is going to tell a developer to return your 50 million cash, for example. He will say he does not have it.
It's gone.
They will now ask you, no, they will ask, so how much do you have to give now? They can say 5 million. Then they will say, how will you pay the rest? They will say 5 million every quarter for the next 5 years. If your money goes into some people's hands in this country, they want you to actually go to law enforcement. That's what they are looking for.
So they get a payment plan?
Yes.
For someone who has had a stint in the real estate space, I would like to say most of these developers, they don't set out to scam people. Sometimes the circumstances are beyond their control.
Like,
let me give you a breakdown.
Please
If
do.
you're buying a property off plan, the developer is building with your money. And the construction timeline depends on how you pay. So if you say you're paying 50% up, if you're paying 100% upfront, you are fully
covered, okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
but say you're paying per milestone. So the construction timeline is based on meeting their sales target. So someone is building 150 units, and it feels like, oh, if I can get 30 people to pay maybe 50% upfront, we can start building. So you pay, and he's only able to get 10 people to pay. Construction timeline shifts. So they are unable to meet up with timelines, and they're also unable to meet up with their commitment. So again, off-plan sales, off-plan buying is subject to sales
scam.
is subject to sales target.
that's what she's saying.
Hold on,
Subject to
hold
scam.
on.
Okay.
That is on one part. And then inflation is also real.
That is none of my business.
Yes, but if you're not paying up to 60% upfront, a lot of people don't read their sales, their contracts of sale.
Sorry, Zumah, let me draw your attention to
Zumah, there are
something.
different
Sorry, hold on. The
people.
lady,
Hold on.
this story I
I am
mentioned,
just giving-
she paid in full.
In full.
Upfront.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know about
There
the
are
lady.
And
I
there
am
are
just
so many
giving-
people with these
No,
cases
am
that
giving-
paid
Why
in
is
full
describing
and there is
genuine
nothing.
developers? That's not what we're
There are
talking
genuine
about.
developers and we
Of course
understand
there are
that.
genuine
But how
developers.
are you talking about someone who paid for something in what, 2019?
Yes.
And you said you deliver in 2 years and you're coming now
To tell me that
say
there's an
inflation.
increase.
I don't want to mention
I
names. There's a
2019?
developer
Yes.
in Abuja. If you mention him, people will say, do you want to spend the rest of your time in court?
Wow.
No, there are people, they
So
know, and he's
I
big.
would also like to speak to 2019. COVID-19 messed with a lot of developers' projects, and a lot of them, 5 years later, they are still yet to recover from it. They are dealing with
So
different
how is
litigation.
that my business?
I
It
don't
is
see.
not your business, but that is what is called force majeure. Like, They can't do that. Was beyond their
but just quickly,
But then again,
Zuma,
yeah.
to round
Sorry,
up,
just to be sure, it's
quickly,
2021, not
2020.
2020.
Okay,
Just
2021, no
2019.
excuse.
Zuma.
No excuse at this point.
nobody should promise what they can't deliver. They are supposed to have,
That's the core
Absolutely.
they are
business.
supposed to have
So
like foundation funds first. And it's only in this country you hear things like 60% upfront. Who even does that? That's too much. That's not even mortgage, and they call it mortgage. Anyway, let me rest my case. This matter is...
I mean, I understand the economics that Zuma is trying to talk about, economic of scale, basically. And I understand that it's a business, so you try to like make your projections, and sometimes some of these projections can go off. But very, very, very funny when you see that what is going on actually is very unethical behavior.
yes.
Oversales.
Yeah, so I can understand that something's happened, COVID-19, all this kind of stuff, but a lot of things that goes on is unethical behavior. Let me say my own experience, and I'm not going into details, but there's not one developer I've dealt with in Lagos today that I've not considered somewhat fraudulent.
Yeah.
Not one. Every developer, I've dealt with like 4 or 5 of them.
Really?
Some very big brand names.
Big names. They're
But
the
why
ones.
are you not calling them now so that people are warned?
You are not
helping.
helping. Business of calling people out.
Well, I did call names, so let's start
I'm
with
still
this
going
one.
to come back to that.
I have, I've
Sorted with them.
no, not sorry with them. I think I've just come to my truth. That, look, probably my best bet in terms of real land ownership and real land
Is
control
what?
is my village.
Yeah.
Can you
You are not
imagine?
wrong.
It's my
You're
village.
not wrong.
That one I
It's
know.
a crisis
I
in
mean,
Nigeria.
I know this is my land, this is my village, my people. Okay, this one, if you want to fight
You
it over
call the
me,
family,
I know where to get you.
Olori
Yeah,
Olori
exactly.
Abi.
Every
But
other thing is a suggestion.
Every other thing here in
It's
Lagos,
just-
from my experience, is
Really?
they sell something to you, they sell an idea to
A
you, they
dream.
sell a concept to you, all right? Their whole plan is to find a way of getting money from you. And from that point onwards, everything you experience after that is them basically
From that
just
point
trying
onward,
to-
their life changes.
everything.
They start having life.
I'm
You
sorry.
summarized it nicely. You said
So,
you're advertising a new
Government
one.
No, I have to.
government must really understand that what is going on
This
is
to be regulated.
fraudulent.
They need to step in.
And the regulatory authorities must step in at some point because people are being defrauded every day.
When last I checked, selling people a pipe dream amounts to fraud, right, Ande?
So many things to unpack, and I agree totally with you, Elsie. Even when they may start off meaning to do right, as Zuma said, most of them do not start that way. The road to hell, they say, is paved with good intentions. So, the International Criminal Court. Recently, I saw a headline that the Trump administration has sanctioned some judges of the ICC. This got me thinking, and I did some research. Not on specific legal aspects of the sanction, I leave that to the legal experts, but on general principles. My findings seem to justify the stance of most in the African Union and many other countries that the ICC is simply a tool for neo-colonialism. Here are some of the findings. The ICC cannot prosecute crimes committed by non-signatory states. Most of the states that have not signed are very powerful states, which happen to be nuclear powers, unless these states are being referred to them by the UN Security Council. Now, most of these states also form part of the permanent membership of the UN Security Council, and they have veto votes. Therefore, in reality, persons from these states cannot be prosecuted. Over 90% of ICC investigations have involved African countries. No Western leaders have been tried, despite widespread allegations of illegality in some wars. Some countries which have not signed or ratified the Rome Statute, which is the foundational treaty establishing the ICC, have raised a number of concerns, including but not limited to concerns over sovereignty, national security, and political bias, targeting of weaker states, especially in Africa, objections to the definition of things like war crimes, crimes against humanity, objections to the absence of nuclear weapons amongst the list of war crimes. There is no doubt that on the surface, the rationale behind the ICC is a noble one. However, if powerful states with nuclear capabilities, thus having potential to commit war crimes at scale, are not part of it, and can even sanction ICC officials. And rightly so, you might say, because they are not signatory to it. Then what is the point in its existence? So I ask, complete reform or scrap? What do you think?
In international diplomacy, the idea really is that it is rules-based, right? The whole United Nations Charter and all the rest. But what we've seen now is that this so-called rules-based is more like animal farm, okay? So there's one rule for some and another rule for the other.
Some are more equal than others.
Yep. So the Rome Statute was signed in 2000, I think by during President Clinton's time. And so we had, I think so far we have over 120 countries that have signed up to that statute. Some countries just clearly didn't sign. But the interesting thing were there were some countries who had signed and unsigned. One of the three prominent countries there were the United States, Israel, and Russia.
Yeah.
China is part of it.
China never signed. China never even signed. China, India, they never signed.
All nuclear powers.
So what you find clearly here is that African countries have gathered themselves like the sacrificial lamb that we are to go and deliver ourselves to ICC.
To be judged.
To be judged, to all these things. And the people who make the rules themselves have said, that's not going to affect us. And I ask myself, in the same way that we are having this conversation today, that while should, it's a bit unrelated, but I'll bring it in, this issue about nuclear power, that why should Israel have nuclear power, all right, nuclear weapons, all right, undeclared, no weapons inspection, all right, and then you say that another country should not have it.
Please mention the country.
Iran must not have it as well because you are the whatever preferred ones, okay, because they are the evil ones. The question also should be, why should African countries be subjected to ICC when you also are not subjected to it? If you're not subjected to it, then nobody should be subjected to it. Does it make it right? Does it make it the kind of world we want? Nobody wants that kind of world. But you cannot have one rule for some, another rule for the others.
I just feel you should scrap it because, I mean, if you're judging by weapons and ownership, those who are stronger will never submit themselves to be held under any type of scrutiny whatsoever. They'll just bomb you away and then you'll be out of it. Yes, like Yinka said, we went to submit. Why are we always willing lambs to be sacrificed on the altar of somebody else? Why are we so, I don't know,
eager to seek validation?
Meek, when it's like we don't know our strength.
There's a lot of diplomatic pressure, which I wonder
by
why.
By whom?
Which I know, like for example, Nigeria, in Nigeria's case, no, the ICC themselves, Nigeria, because we need to sign it into law. Okay.
What about the others?
It has not been ratified.
What about the other ones that?
Now, there is pressure from ICC on Nigeria to assent into law.
Wait,
why
do we have weapons? Do we have weapons?
Why are they not pressuring?
Wait, do we have nuclear weapons? We don't have. So why are you pressuring us?
The question is, why aren't you pressuring? Because one of the functions of the ICC is to deter future crimes. If you are thinking of mass crimes against humanity, it's somebody with a nuclear weapon who should be concerned
who can wipe
about.
Yes.
But
scrapped. That's my view. I have nothing more to say.
I mean, your advocacy and what he has said reminds me of what we talked about in March, if you remember, when I was still talking about ICC, when Michael Fakri came out to say it was never meant to hold Western powers accountable, right? Precisely. And the angle then was that we were trying to call on the African leaders to wake up. Like, they are being oppressed technically, but because they are so focused on oppressing their own people, they can't even see that they're being oppressed, right? So I'm hoping
they can see, they don't mind.
You are sure they don't mind?
Ah, they don't mind. They can see.
They are focused on oppressing their own people, so they don't. I don't think that they understand the gravity
Trust
of
me,
where
they
they are.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, absolutely, because when you look at the number of convictions ICC has had,
90%.
almost
Africans.
90% are Africans.
Okay, so I would say ICC is designed to keep Africans in check.
Simple.
It was never about
International. Should be African
international-
Criminal Court, ACC.
Precisely. And then my own girls is not even with their conviction. It's about the amount of money that is being budgeted year in, year out. Billions have been spent since it was started, and only 11 convictions
Wow.
they've had. Yes.
The billions is
of dollars, not
Spent on
naira.
what? Spent on what?
On the administration, overhead, trials, and all of that.
What
So we're
about
talking
who?
about it being scrapped.
No, they have to
right?
use international lawyers.
Again, getting it scrapped, a lot of people are benefiting from it.
Who?
So, the people who are getting paid the billions. The money is
Lawyers,
going the lawyers. So
you
there is like a whole ecosystem around it.
Yeah.
You know, the arbitrators and all of that.
yeah.
There's like a whole
Gamut.
around it. So again, but it can be reformed. It can be
you are
reformed.
so
You know?
optimistic about this thing.
Woman is an optimist.
She is. I really admire that about
If they
you.
can get more global buy-in, and if they can, they can tackle the bias.
My question
the
to you is,
global
my
buy-in.
question to you is, why will I want to subject myself when
You
I'm
know
stronger than you?
Really, no reason, no incentive. So again, let it go.
Especially
Thank
when
you.
the rules are not even.
It's not even
let it
favoring me. I want to choose to bump your head tomorrow. It's my choice, and you can't tell me what to do.
So, just as we habitually do our housekeeping, so we should regularly evaluate the systems that shape our lives.
Speaking of housekeeping, it's time to regulate our practice of surrogacy before it gets out of hand. Surrogacy as a reproductive option has gained traction in Nigeria, offering hope to the infertile couples and individuals seeking to build families. However, the absence of a comprehensive legal framework governing surrogacy in Nigeria poses significant risks to all the parties involved. The unregulated nature of surrogacy has led to ethical, legal, and medical concerns, including the potential for exploitation, human rights violations, and health risks. A recent post by Ife of the Diary of the Niger Girl on Instagram underscores the urgent need for regulation to address the implications of unchecked surrogacy practices in Nigeria. The post subtly advocates for the commercialization of surrogacy, encouraging healthy women who may not need surrogacy to consider it. Nigeria currently lacks specific legislation to regulate surrogacy, creating a legal vacuum that exposes participants to significant risks. This has led to serious challenges, including the rise of baby factories, where vulnerable women are exploited to produce children for sale, often under unsafe conditions. In an unregulated system, the commercialization of surrogacy could lead to exploitation of surrogates, where women from low-income backgrounds may be coerced into surrogacy for financial survival, without proper legal protection or informed consent. It could also lead to child welfare risks, as children born through surrogacy may face uncertain legal parentage, risking abandonment or disputes over custody, as seen in cases where surrogates and intended parents disagree post-birth. It could also lead to health risks where adequate medical care is not provided for surrogates, increasing risks of congenital abnormalities, preterm birth, and maternal health complications. And there are also human trafficking concerns. The lack of oversight fuels illegal practices like baby factories, where children are sold domestically and internationally, violating anti-trafficking laws. For Nigeria to manage the surrogacy situation before it gets out of hand, we must prioritize passing the 2024 Surrogacy Regulatory Commission Bill, which proposes a regulatory body to oversee surrogacy, ban commercial practices, and protect all parties. We must develop national standards for assisted reproductive technology clinics, mandating counseling, medical screenings, and limits on embryo transfers to protect surrogates and newborn health. The time for action is now to ensure surrogacy in Nigeria is a safe, ethical, and legally sound option for all.
All your advocacies all the time.
Thank
They're
you.
so deep and you unpack so much. I mean, that advocacy is self-explanatory. You listed 3 very, very important foundations: ethical, legal, and medical. Those are the foundations from which you will build or pass any law. I watched the first video, and I was like, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you. Why do you think you can,
Well,
you know, and I
entitled to another
just
woman's
stayed clear
body.
out of it. It is a means to exploit people who are not financially capable. You just pay them and say, have a child for me. But then what will make you want to look after them? Are you bound under any laws or legal framework to make sure that they are taken care of before and after they've delivered the baby for you? What are documents that are signed? What are the ethical? In short, there's just so much around it. Surrogacy is a thing of giving hope to those who cannot have medical complications and want to bring forth a child. It shouldn't be something to be done lightly, like you're going to buy a bag. Oh, I like this bag. Well, let me buy it. No, it shouldn't be. There are lots of emotions attached to carrying a child. Apart from the changes in the body, there's mental, changes. Women have
the
PTSD.
risk.
There's so much. They can die. So it shouldn't be something to be just thought of lightly. I hope Nigeria rises up to it. I hope we have laws that will actually work and not be suggestions, like you always say.
For me, you spoke about so many things, but you see the baby factories and children for sale really got me. And this is where regulation, government, and leadership comes in. Somebody will tell you that it's because of poverty. What poverty will cause you to give birth to a child and then sell the child? It's not poverty. No, it's to show that human beings will do anything if unchecked.
People sell their children.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that with proper regulation and leadership and making sure that, you said there's a bill. I hope when it's signed into law, the law will be enforced and that will stop seeing. That's why I said there's just so many parts of it, but it's just heartbreaking that someone will give birth to a child just to sell the child. You can't tell me that it's poverty.
It's usually not even the person who gives birth to the child that wants to sell. There are people, like you call them,
I'm not talking about the surrogacy bit now. She mentioned baby factories. There's a group, pregnant women who don't want it. People talk to them and just say, don't worry, give birth, and then they buy. That's different from the surrogacy. And on surrogacy specifically, this is one bit I agree with you, that we just borrow some cultures initially, but even those cultures now, if you notice, superstars are beginning to get pregnant. They are beginning to discourage it through their media, making it fashionable for women to become pregnant again. Because there was a time where it was like a celebrity thing. For
I don't want to touch my body. I want to look hard.
You see this era of content and social media that we are in? It has never started the problem that is going to start.
You see the social media.
You are still coming there.
Elsie.
Because I don't understand why Ife had to make that video. She probably had a good
intention.
To
just have let people be riled up, because I don't understand it.
Because she even in the video she said, I'm about to rouse social media people up again.
So
and so
but
many
it is
people
irresponsible.
Were under that post. I like that she has the kind of followers she has.
They are real.
They are real, and they are
thinking.
They are thinking. So we weren't just seeing people trying to bash her or insult her. They calmed down and give her reasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 why you shouldn't have done this. Unfortunately, I still feel like she's not getting it because she has not rescinded it. She's just sort of moving on from it. Like, I've said it, right? Like you rightly said, and you have said already, there's a lot of emotion that goes into this. We're not going to get to a point where babies are commodities. That's
like
not what is going
coming
to
out
happen.
of an assembly line.
And even if you want to start this kind of conversation, there needs to be a level of sincerity and vulnerability from your own end. Because Ife is above 40, we are women, so we can say it to ourselves. When you're above 40, there is a high-risk pregnancy. It's not I mean, I tell people, yes, I'm at this age and this is where I'm at, but it doesn't mean that I don't know the advantages and disadvantages of where I am or where my life is. I'm a woman, and we all know. Yeah. So if you come out to say, oh, I think somebody, we don't know if that's true or not, but that's on this one, okay, is allegedly saying, oh, she probably tried IVF. We don't know, right? But we know that you're at a point where having a child is not necessarily a walk in the park, right? Even when it happens at that age, most of us call it a miracle. Like, oh, wow, you had it. So if you even want to have that conversation and be at the forefront, have empathy at the back of it, be vulnerable, listen to people, understand that this is a life we are talking about. Yes. The woman, you say, I have the money, I can afford it. Please, how much do you have? No. How much exactly does she have? That see, people who have this money don't make noise. So you just come outside the camera and say, I have money, I can afford it, I will do it. If you have money, do it. It's not about money. It's not about, if anybody can then begin to afford it because you have money, then those who really need it will not be able to afford it. Right? So I think she needs to also go back and think about it. And I like this advocacy, like I've said.
Zumah is amazing.
We need systems. And my own worry is where this thing is passing and going to now. We have only 3 women. It's now 2. They don't pursue one, Abi. It's just 2 women. And how many men are going to legislate? So I hope that they look at all the angles. Make it a priority. Yeah. Make it a priority and look at all the angles from who owns the child. When the child is then...
The rights to someone's body.
You know, when the child then comes forth, what's the protection on that child in terms of even inheritance? Because some people will now say, oh, I'm able to now give birth to my own. This one was not, you know, that child has to be protected. The surrogate mother has to be protected. There has to be laws that covers all these parts that you have raised, right? It's not just passing a bill and a man is standing up and he's talking about women issue. No. Do you understand what you're talking about before you start talking about it? So Yinka? I don't have faith in them, but I hope that they do the right thing.
I hope they watch a place at the table. Because the topics that we bring here, they are so well thought of, and they are so important, germane to a lot of things. So, I mean, I'm sitting down here just listening to all of you guys, and I find out that I'm being educated in the process. And I like to think that I'm informed. Yeah. But I'm educated about this subject. And I see it, you know, not just from, I mean, I think Zumah, you did an absolute job, you know, in terms of breaking it down and making us see the bigger picture. It's not just about the surrogacy itself, you know, it's also about child welfare, the risk and all. So there's a whole big conversation that you're going to have, that it's important to have a system, a regulatory system, where the women themselves who are birthing these children are protected. You know, the children that come out, they come into a social system that protects their rights. And also the people benefiting from the surrogacy itself also understand that they have certain responsibilities to keep and all that. So we must have this, you know, the big picture and see how it's, you know, it's a very important conversation to have. And my only concern really is from, you know, and it's just from a fiscal perspective, that for every passage of every bill in Nigeria, there's a new commission that is open, and then that's another budgetary, you know, allocation, another opportunity for some people to just
steal money.
But if there's a way that we can embed it within the Ministry of Health, without creating
or women affairs.
Another commission, you know, I think I'll be for it.
Anyway, planting trees under whose shade women never sit isn't just an occupation for old men, is it, Yinka?
Why do I think that you're targeting me? Of course not, Zumah. It speaks to our consideration and care for others, besides ourselves. Qualities to be found in a good father. In many countries, the third Sunday in June is dedicated to celebrating Father's Day. It's a day set aside to honor fathers for their roles in the lives of their children and the society at large. It is an opportunity to acknowledge their often unseen hard work, sacrifice, and role as providers, protectors, and mentors. For this year's Father's Day, I want to celebrate my dad. Otumba Emmanuel Adetayo Ogunnubi, an icon of inestimable value who taught his children the value and virtues of hard work and smart work. I recall an incident not long after I finished secondary school in the late 80s. I just completed the UTME and didn't obtain the required cutoff mark to make the admission list. A close family friend came visiting and urged my dad to allow someone else to write the exam for me. He claimed to have done that for his kids in their WAEC and JAM exams. I remember clearly the response from my dad. If they can't pass by merit, then they don't deserve to go to the university. Principles like this that shaped my values and those of my siblings in how we approach our studies as students, our contracts as employees, our roles as spouses, and our patriotism as citizens. Daddy taught us that integrity wasn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life. At home, he was a perfect gentleman who treated my mom with love and respect. Their marriage, now in its 53rd year, is still growing strong. He was all the mentor I needed on how to be a better husband. I hope Ande agrees. Daddy, I love you, and I appreciate everything that you have done for us. The sacrifices you made when you left National Bank, the struggles to keep food on our table, pay our school fees, and make us smile when we knew things were hard. Daddy, your sacrifice paid off. Your children are doing well, and you have every reason to be proud. To the best dad in the whole wide world, happy Father's Day.
Okay, so
I love you, Daddy. You know that song?
Yeah.
You are my hero, and you're always in my dreams. Oh, your daddy is still alive, Abi.
I hope.
So you watch this session?
Yes.
I hope Otumba.
I've not finished now, Andy.
Oh,
I
thought you were
was
just
serenading
singing.
Yinka and
I
his
thought you were
father.
just singing.
Okay,
Okay.
finish. I was. Go, you
Okay.
go.
I hope Otumba Ogunnubi gets to see this.
He will.
Some of us who will soon be grandfathers will still have daddies.
will you,
And,
sorry, are you really going to be grandfather soon?
Oh, we'll talk about that.
He has said it, you still want to take it back.
Yeah, and I agree he's the best dad in the world, literally and figuratively.
Do you know
because
him?
being a dad, no, I will tell you why. Because you see, responsible parenting. Zumah said something about planting.
Responsible that they were using on Twitter to blow me Chakabula.
She was saying something about planting trees, the shades of which you will not see. Now, he raised some generational issues that we thought started with this generation. We didn't know that it was bad parenting of the past that we're reaping now. Exam malpractice, which another father has thought
That is okay to cut corners.
yes, to cut corners, and I'm sure it's a ripple effect today. We're seeing the biggest problem in Nigerian educational system is not underfunding, is exam malpractice. Because it ties to so many things. It ties to sex for grades, pay for grades, substandard, people getting into school when they are not qualified to get into it. I mean, if all the students are brilliant, pass their exams, nobody will go to pay anybody for grades or, you know, allow the lecturer exploit you for sexual gratification. So, yeah, we need to know as parents that the decisions we take today can have generational consequences. And when we have parents like Otumba Ogunnubi who have sown the right seed, we have to celebrate them. So,
I could see your shoulder. As we were talking about your dad, your shoulder was here on your ears. But well done. Your dad did well. And indeed, I agree that integrity is not a buzzword. It is a way of life. It is not a happenstance. It is something that you do every day. It is who you are. And whether we like it or not, the first foundation or where the society starts from is from the home. Whatever we become later emanated from there. I do agree that, yes, people will fall by the wayside despite strict upbringing and discipline. But that is where we are shaped before we now find ourselves in the world. And your dad did great. You're an amazing person,
Thank you,
Yinka.
Kate.
We love you, Otumba Ogunnubi.
Okay, Yinka, I thought my dad is the best dad in the world. I don't know. But so I'm going to make this advocacy about me.
Yeah, okay.
My dad has more than 20 children.
Hey!
And every one of us feel like we are his favorite child.
Oh.
I mean, it's always a fight on the family WhatsApp. Oh, you're dad's favorite child and him. You are not my dad's favorite child. I am my dad's favorite child, you know. Talking about not letting you leverage nepotism for opportunities. My dad is like that also. You know, say you had, my first UTME, I had 212, and I wanted to study medicine. And then I told my dad, then he was like, no, that I am not going to take your results anywhere. You have to earn your way through.
That was
At the end of studying
then.
medicine, I studied accounting, but then again, you know, it made me realize that he's never going to put you on for a job. He's never going to tell you, your mates without parents are doing it. If I were not alive, you would have done it. When people say, oh, Zumah is a Nepo baby, but not for my parents. They will not even move an inch. They will tell you, you can do it. You know, and he provided a safe space for us. Like, when people go, oh, things are going crazy, I know I can always go home, and my parents will take care of me. If I say, Daddy, I'm done working today, I'm like, okay. Are you okay? Are you fine? Do you want to come home? That is always the first question. I remember my first job. I was having issues with my head of compliance then. He was romantically interested in me. I was not having it, and he started victimizing me. And I told my dad, and first he told me was, you know, you don't have to work. You know, you can always come home.
Oh,
You don't have to do this particular job. And I'm like, okay. And I left the job.
Straight up. You need to have your support.
You know,
base.
it taught me contentment, it taught me resilience, the importance of hard work, and making your words your bond. Like if my dad tells you something is going to happen, best believe it is going to happen. It taught me optimism. Zumah is always optimistic. No, the cloud is always bright and shiny. There are no gray areas. Oh, Daddy, I feel like this is not going to work. It is going to work.
No. My daddy was a disciplinarian. In short, now when I see him, I look at him with pity because he's old, you know, he's old. But then my dad, if he just show, he doesn't need to call your name. If you call your full name, know you're in trouble. But if he just stands, we used to be like the Von Trapp family. If my dad is coming, yes, he's coming back from work, you hear his horn from the junction, you line up and stand. Everybody must come down and stand, wait for the car. When he parks, you pick something from the car. If you don't have anything, just follow the line and go back upstairs. His briefcase, his newspaper. If you are upstairs, what are you doing upstairs? You must help him carry his things.
Come and welcome the king of the house.
My dad, he was a disciplinarian. I don't even try anything here. If you call your full name.
So it's sweet to hear this, but unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was, less than 1 year. But everything you have described was my mom for me. But I'm not taking away the shine of men today, right? So, happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking truth to power should also include celebrating our heroes present. I know Kate will agree, and maybe even Ande.
Yinka, you mean heroes past? It's Ande. Ande does that. Well, that's on period, Yinka. Happy Father's Day to all those hardworking, responsible, sacrificial fathers out there. Now, let's flip the page to the other side of close relationships and consider what happens when support turns to sabotage. Friendship is often touted as a vital component of personal growth and success. However, the reality is that some friends can become gatekeepers to our progress unintentionally or even deliberately holding us back. These individuals may masquerade as supporters, but their actions can be detrimental to our goals and aspirations. Friends who are gatekeepers to our progress may exhibit behaviors such as discouraging risk-taking. They may caution against pursuing new opportunities or challenges, citing potential risks or failures. Fostering complacency, they may encourage us to stay in your comfort zone rather than pushing us to grow and improve. Undermining confidence, they may make negative comments or jokes that erode our self-belief and our very confidence. Distracting or diverting focus, they may pull us away from our goals either through excessive socializing or by introducing new, potentially detrimental habits. So in order for us to overcome the limitations imposed by these friends, it's essential to reevaluate relationships. Assess whether these friends are truly supportive and positive, or green snake in the green grass. Set boundaries, establish clear expectations and limits to protect your time and your energy. Seek alternative support. Surround yourself with people who genuinely encourage, support your growth, and will tell you the truth. Focus on your goals, stay committed to your own objectives, and prioritize your own needs. While friends can be a valuable source of support and encouragement, it's crucial to recognize when they may be holding us back. By acknowledging the potential for sabotage and taking steps to protect our goals and aspirations, we can break free from the limitations imposed by others and achieve our full potential. Zumah.
I particularly love your friendship advocacy. I think you had one recently also about embracing friendship. I am very big on community. I tell people that my friends keep me whole. But I'm also very comfortable with letting friendships die because friendship is based on mutual interest and mutual values. Particularly, and I'm very intentional about surrounding myself with people who empower me or support me being the best version of myself. So if you're coming with distractions that distract me from my goal, our friendship cannot particularly go forward. If you make negative comments that erode my self-confidence, I will address it once. And then if it keeps happening, we will not be friends anymore. You know, if you consistently if you consistently unintentionally sabotage me, so I'm going to assume, I'm not going to assume malice, I'm going to assume stupidity, and we will stop being friends.
But you can't fix stupid, though.
You can't fix stupid. Malice, you can, you know, so it's very important for us to understand our role in people's lives and the kind of energy they bring our way. It's okay for friendships to evolve. There are different layers of friendship. And it's okay to say we used to be friends. People say, oh, do you know this person? Yeah, we used to be friends.
I really like the issue of friendship. In fact, pardon me if I quote philosophers, but there are philosophers that have written a lot about friendships. And friendships are important. I like the fact that you said some of your friends can be gatekeepers out of genuine concern, you know? So yeah, sometimes it's out of genuine concerns, and we have to understand each other's imperfections. And the truth is that there are so many nuances. I wish, like Zumah, I have a rule book. You seem to have it figured out. I'm not sure I have it that figured out because, you know, one friend will do this, another friend will do like the same thing, but there are some nuances that will make you
context.
Put up with it. I think for me, the deal breaker, which I think you mentioned, is when you know that this person is negative energy. That one is a bit different. Like you just know this is bad vibe, and then there's no point to carry on. But yeah, friends, sometimes the ones you think will come through might not be the ones. It's very difficult to predict who will be who. So it's a wonderful thing, but at the same time, I think there was something one politician said recently, which is not like he's my favorite person. I'm not calling his name, but he was like, you don't choose your family, but you choose your friends. So when your friends
are the
betray
families
you,
we choose.
it's a bit even more painful than family because, I mean, you didn't determine who will be your brother, sister, or cousin, but you chose this person. You are my friend. I confide in you, and we share things together. And then, so friendship is important, but no to negative energies.
But picking up what he has said and some of the things
Wait, you don't have friends?
I have friends.
She's
but
friends with
like
herself.
she has said, I mean, it's easy to, when you know this is not serving you.
Yeah, you cut off easily.
And just move
Scissors.
on. And it's not like we're enemy. We will see, we'll laugh, but there are just some boundaries that
with
comes
the
in,
relationship.
right? So you said something about negative comments and then distractions. I think that negative comment is one that I can't even tolerate. There's one, all those backhanded compliments.
Shade.
You look good today, but
today, meaning the other days.
So when I see that that's a constant, and it's, maybe then I feel this energy that it is also coming from a place of maybe inferiority complex from yourself, I cannot help you. I'm not a therapist. I'm sorry. Even if I recognize the problem or I recognize where it's coming from, I cannot help you. I did not make myself, right? So that is just enough for me to pull back, right? But what I always do, I've said this over and over again on this table, I've learned how to compartmentalize, right? You are this for this, you're amazing for this. And like you said, someone who was so amazing to you last week might now be the one that will hurt you so much next week, right? How do you then reconcile all that? And you have also given valuable steps. You said you evaluate your friendships, because you have to evaluate to even do what
it's like fumigation.
Yeah,
you fumigate
you see this distraction thing and then focusing on your goal. I think that as adults, as we're growing, you get to a point where you have conviction in yourself and your decision making, right? Know when to say, no, this is what I'm doing today.
And go
even if everybody says
comes from it.
they are going to hang out today, and you know that you need to read a book, or you want to do a course online, or you just want to Netflix, do it. Saying no, nobody's going to beat you. Just say it in a nice way. Also make out times for your friend, but create that boundaries, right? Distraction. If you allow yourself, that's the word, you allow yourself to be distracted, because nobody's distracting you. Even if you come to my phone and tell me, oh, what's the name of the raining club now is the most important thing, you will not see me there, because it's not just what I want to do. And I'm not holding brief or judging people that are there. I'm okay with you being there. Be okay with the life that I've also chosen to live for myself. When we have the activities that we align, all of us will be there and we do it. But if you're doing your own, I'm doing my own, let's not try to twist it, right? So, I mean, it's so amazing. Friendship helps us. Sometimes, like, I like that quote of you don't choose your family, but you choose your friends. I think I have more friends that I would hold on to and say, no, this person is my person. Like, this person has been there through thick and thin. We've been through a lot together. It's not like we've not hurt each other, but we've gone through it, right? But family, nobody we choose ourselves. We are just there doing what we can do together. So, thank you so much for the advocacy.
There's a scripture, Proverbs 18:24, that says that a man, or is it a friend?
There's a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
A man will show himself friendly, but there's a friend that sticks
closer than a brother.
You know, a lot of Christians try to appropriate that scripture to mean Christ. But in reality, what it's talking about is the depth of friendship, that it can go deeper than blood relationship. And it's very important, you know. When I turned 50, I turned 50 some years ago. You know, a lot of people wanted me to, you know, party and all that. I just didn't feel like it, you know. So I jetted out of the country and
with your family.
Yes. So I just went to a quiet place. You know, I just wanted to reflect.
And it's okay.
I just wanted to reflect. You know, I didn't want to noise. You know, everybody wanted noise. You know, I didn't want noise.
Big 50.
I just wanted to reflect. And one of the things I reflected on was my relationships over those years, because I realized that who I am today is actually a culmination of a lot of all those relationships, especially friends. Friends played a role. And one of the examples that my mind went to at that time was an experience that happened just before I got married. So at that point in time, I was still dating my girlfriend, my wife now, you know, and there was, don't laugh.
Before you go, man, and explain yourself. Don't worry.
So there was something that happened. Both of us, we had an altercation, and she wrote me a very nasty letter, you know, and she was angry. Obviously, she was upset. She wrote me. That was pre-GSM days, so it wasn't, you know, so she wrote me, you know, a letter that I didn't find funny. And my immediate reaction at that time was to pick up a pen and write her back.
Fire for fire.
In the same
aura for aura.
In the same tone. And I wrote the letter, and I was about to go post it. At that time, we still had
that time when postal service they work.
You know, and I had a friend at that time. And that's why I'm talking about the importance of friends. You need to have the right friends with you.
Very important.
Because if that friend was not there at that time, I probably would not be married today. I probably would not be married to her. And maybe I don't have the kind of family I have. But I had a friend at that time who said, can he see that letter? So I gave it to him, he read it, he said, okay. He went, came back, brought me another sheet of paper and a pen. And he told me, everything you wrote there, write the opposite of it.
Oh, bless. Is he still your friend today?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And I didn't feel like it. That's the point. I didn't feel, I felt, what did you do? He said, no, it doesn't matter. Just write everything that you feel the opposite of it. So I wrote back to her. I said, oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry that you felt this way, blah, 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 blah. I love you. Let's find a way of solving this, and blah. And, you know, I wrote that, sent it back. Guess what? She wrote back to me, and she was apologizing.
Yes.
She was like, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have written that to you, blah, blah, blah. I take it back. I'm so sorry. I love you,
That's
and
so
blah, 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 blah. And today, I have a marriage because of that friend. So a lot of us today, where we are today, actually is because we had very good friends who were able to tell us the truth. And so if you have that friend that is still there, that you know that will tell you the truth, but will also support you when you need support, value that friend, keep that friend, because
Very
it's closer
important.
than a brother.
Yeah.
A soft answer turns away wrath. That's what it says in Proverbs. We all need that tribe that looks out for us. You know, I hope you all have a tribe that you can lean on. And yes, please sanitize and fumigate regularly.
Very
I know what I'm saying.
I've learned
Because
that
as you get older, your perspective
Your
to life, your
values
values
changes.
I
Your
also like
interest
Elsie, she said she
changes.
doesn't fall to peer pressure, you know.
Yeah, you know, just be your
There
own
are things
person.
that you do only with your
At some
friends.
point, you should have a sense of self.
Yeah.
And you also have people that align with, and people that will tell you the truth,
Yinka
regardless of
agree.
whose or is
There are
God.
things you do only
I
with
have
your
a friend
friends.
that my favorite thing about her is she calls me out of, Zumah, no, you are wrong.
Yeah.
I am not
I am
wrong.
that person.
And then she'll tell you no, and then she will highlight everything. This, we are wrong. Go and apologize. Okay.
You were like Yinka. A good dose of truth never did hurt anyone. In fact, we should do it more often. Join us again, same channel, same time next week. And let's keep shining the light on issues that shape our very lives. Till then, it's goodbye, sayonara from all of us.
Bye-bye.
Tati bye.